It's finally here, everyone. The Boys is back, and I don't know about you, but I cannot wait to get into this. I'm so ready to get into this, in fact, that I'm getting into this right now. We open with a bunch of MAGA, Homelander supporters, sorting out when Trump, Homelander, arrives on stage. The commentary as organic and subtle as always. We then see Annie has dressed up as one of the firecracker dancers. Now, you're probably thinking, how did someone who looks exactly like one of the most wanted terrorists in the US managed to walk into Vault headquarters and not a single soup, security guard, or camera managed to look at her fucking face that isn't covered in any way whatsoever? And the answer to that very important and plot-breaking question that was definitely thought of by the writers is Annie manages to sneak away into a security room with her rebel friends, although Noir spots her. As Homelander jerks himself off on stage, Noir attacks Annie and her friends, and instead of informing everyone that Annie's in the building, Noir just attacks without getting any backup that could help them because he's retarded. Annie's friend manages to upload the flight video for everyone to see, but Sage informs them it's an AI generated video. If you're just going to treat the importance of this video like a joke, you might as well have just not have used it like you did in season 4. Anyways, the government tells everyone it's a fake and Ashley is now just the vice president of the US for some reason.
What about your so-called freedom camps? The Starlighter dissidents?
More clickbait.
Who doesn't love freedom? And camp.
It's also clear here that Kripke seems to think that Trump was going to round up everyone who disagreed with him and put them in camps. Honestly, he's such a fucking cook.
You're not distracted at all after Thomas Godolkin dumped you?
Hey, yeah, that guy who tried to usurp you and then you did fucking nothing. Thanks, Shaw, for bringing this up only to not do anything with it.
Have you seen the memes? Have you seen the memes about me?
It actually kind of pisses me off that the writers kept going on strikes saying they didn't get paid enough, and then they got a pay rise several times, and this is how they choose to write afterwards. Fuck me. Homelander continues to cry that not everyone loves him. You know, that plotline that's been going on for 3 seasons now or whatever the fuck. And after whining about how he's not happy, he says to execute Huey, MM and Frenchie to draw out Annie and Butcher so we can kill them. I'm sorry, but this is set a few months after Gen V Season 2, and that was set a few months after Season 4 of The Boys, so at most a year has passed? So why the fuck haven't you tried this plan yet? You've just had some very high profile prisoners sat in your camps and you just sat there and did fuck all with them?
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
We see Frenchie in one of the camps, and seriously, Kripke could not try harder to compare Trump to Hitler if you tried. The thing about comparing your plot to, say, the Holocaust is you need the writing capacity to make the comparison seem tasteful and mature, something Kripke would be incapable of doing. You could put a gun to Kripke's head and he'd struggle to tone down his writing. You could threaten to nuke Israel and he'd still decide to throw in a dick joke for no reason whatsoever. Anyways, Huey saves Frenchie's life from a dude who, I don't know actually why he decided to attack Frenchie, maybe he's a Hamas supporter. Frenchie gives Huey a note about what happened with Annie, and we see that MM, the black guy in the group, is using his time constructively by beating white people for entertainment. Fair enough, Kripke, fair enough. We then see Love Sausage beat a guy to death with his dick. Don't know why the jolly fat party animal has now become a member of the SS division, but whatever. We then see Butcher in England, and his mum's just dead now. That would have been a good scene, seeing Butcher's reaction to finding out his mum, who he loves, is dead. But unfortunately, we had to choose between that or a pointless scene of a guy getting beaten to death with a penis, and so the choice was obvious, really. Anyways, Butcher goes to kill his dad, and the scene cuts away, again. 2 extremely important moments in Butcher's life, and we don't get to see them, because Kripke wanted Trump to shout at a makeup artist. Firecracker has stopped taking her titty milk pills, so she's literally fucking worthless in every way possible as a character now, and after their interview where they call Godolkin and the Plain Events AI videos, we then see Butcher arrive to recruit Kimiko to rescue everyone else. How is Kimiko free when she should be in one of those soup cells? Why is she hanging out with this random family? How the hell did Butcher get from England to the middle of the Philippines in less than 1 day? I didn't know he had teleportation powers as well. Also, I do just love this. Literally every season Butcher fucks them over and then they take him back. And I thought maybe they would drag this out for at least 2 episodes, get some tension for the group. But no, they're assembling the team back together in the very first fucking episode. So what was the point of the ending of the last season?
It's a joke. It's all a joke.
Oh, and one time I had to see naked on a chocolate cake. It's a long story.
I'm so glad that Kripke is continuing the trend of not giving a single shit that he made the repeated Huey a joke that no one, not even Huey, cares about. We see a prisoner trying to escape only to get killed by the slaphead introduced in season 2. And after a scene that makes me want to strangle whichever fucknugget decided the Deep needed 4 more seasons in this show, Butcher shows up at Annie's house. Guys, seriously, at least explain how Butcher's finding these people. You can't just keep teleporting him around like this, it's ridiculous. We do get a nice scene of Annie and Kimiko hugging before the two of them are shocked that Kimiko can speak.
Vought got tired of me ripping off their guards' faces, so they deported me to Manila.
Alright, so let me get this straight. You're a wanted terrorist who has insider knowledge of how Homelander and Vought operate, that they want to keep a secret at any cost, and they have cells that are specifically designed to hold soups. Instead of putting you in one of those, they put you in a normal, random cell, which allowed you to keep killing their guards, and so instead of killing you and ending the problem immediately, they decided to deport you to a foreign country where you have all sorts of shit that could ruin them. No, I'm sorry. You can't make Vought this giant, untouchable secret empire and then have them being retarded shits. Butcher tells her about the executions, and she figures out that they need Frenchie to make the virus stronger. The boys find out they're about to be executed, and it turns out that Annie also knows where the boys have been held prisoner this whole time and just didn't bother to rescue them. If she wasn't sure that all of them would be at the same camp, and she didn't want to risk rescuing some, angering Homelander and causing the others to pay the price, fair enough. But no, she knows where all 3 of them are and she just let them rot. Huey's been taking it up the arse by Big Tyrone every night for months because Annie couldn't be bothered to deal with one soup and some guys with guns. We see that Homelander killed the stage manager because he liked a Starlight meme once, you know, that thing that Trump did. And then he has a go at Deep and Noir for not stopping Annie broadcasting the plane footage. Can't wait to see Homelander chewing the Deep out for getting this footage in the first place, as he's the only one capable of finding it. Oh, no? Never mind, they've just forgotten that plot point because of course they fucking have. Also, Noir just isn't talking anymore, which kind of ruins one of the best parts I enjoyed about this one. So congrats on making your characters shittier all the time. We then see Firecracker, Ashley, and a new guy called Oh Father. I'm sure you can work out his gimmick and purpose in the show. Anyways, they go on a tangent about DEI and having thought police and shit like that. Really just uninteresting barrel scraping political commentary, while Sage does one of the 3 things she's well known for. We meet a guy called The Worm taking his Eric Kripke script writing lessons.
Know what they say about huge guys? They have huge cocks.
Bazinga!
And then Butcher arrives, asking him to eat a tunnel for him. We then cut to Annie and Kimiko, and I should have mentioned they gave Kimiko the personality of a 15-year-old white girl, sitting on a park bench drinking whiskey and talking about random shit in an annoying tone of voice.
You need a shower, you smell like a Wingstop bathroom.
A-Train then arrives, and they talk about how Annie's resistance is going.
Go Marie Moreau, how's her team doing?
Yeah, they're scoring a few wins, but not nearly enough.
I'm sorry, so you've got a girl who can shrink and infiltrate anything, a mind reader and brainwasher, a brick shithouse, a person who can be a brick shithouse or a concussive blast throwing powerhouse, and DEI Jesus herself, and the best you can do is a few wins. Gen V Season 2 really hyped them up for no reason, didn't they? We continued to see Kripke's amazing character writing at work when it turns out that A-Train, the black guy, keeps running away from doing any actual work and expects the white woman he's partnered with to do everything. I genuinely don't know if Kripke is secretly one of the lads, or if he's so dog shit at writing he keeps accidentally using racial stereotypes on characters he claims to be good guys. But no, seriously, why is A-Train acting like he's just kind of vaguely knowing what Annie is doing and isn't really part of it? Wasn't the whole point of his Gen V cameo is that it shows him fighting against Vought? And then the first time he appears he is like, nah, it's not me, it's not my problem. The boys are in their secret bunker planning their escape, and everyone starts to go at each other over whether they'll be able to escape and if their loved ones are safe. And then we get hit with this.
MM, you're the strongest guy I know.
Sage chatted shit to MM for like 30 seconds and it made him have a heart attack, and this is apparently the strongest guy Huey knows. Huey goes back to the barracks and everyone's been slaughtered by Homelander, who reads his diary and calls him a wuss. Homelander reveals that he knows their plan and then gets confused about why everyone loves Huey but not him.
Because I do it for them.
I wonder how many more basic concepts Homelander will learn when the show is done. As A-Train isn't helping them, Annie will have to fly everyone out one by one, starting with Frenchie as he's the most important to stopping Homelander. We go to France where we get a scene of A-Train with his family, and to be honest, it's not a bad scene. scene, with his brother saying how he saved their lives and how he was wrong to doubt him as a hero. They're then interrupted by the Deep, who is riding a shark that also has super speed. By the way, it somehow managed to appear 3 minutes after A-Train arrived. It used to be you'd find souped up animals in labs being experimented on, but no, apparently whenever the Deep needs a supersonic shark, you can just find one in the ocean. A-Train gets his family to safety and he confronts the Deep, telling him that he was just as devoted to Homelander and it ruined him. Deep says he's going to kill his family, and instead of doing the smart thing, by which I mean ripping him apart instantly and saving his family from further harassment, A-Train just leaves.
You're a fucking idiot.
Butcher tells Annie to stop feeling guilty about shit, and then Worm starts to tunnel into the compound. I will say, Worm is kind of fucking creepy cool. Like, he just sucks up dirt and he's got no dick like an action man. It's kind of bizarre, but not in a shit way. They get into the compound and Homelander is just waiting for them.
And, you never told me that this one's nickname is Mother's Milk.
How the fuck wouldn't you know this? You've been fighting these guys for 3 years and you've never bothered to figure out what MM means. He lasers Kimiko in half and then he starts to orgasm over Butcher being a soup now, and then Annie uses her powers to flashbang the entire compound, blinding Homelander and allowing them to escape. It's a good job that Homelander's only reliable source of detection is gone and that he doesn't have super smell or super hearing that could help him or anything. You know, it's just his eyes he uses. Frenchie and Kimiko decide to deep throat each other before Annie flies them out. MM goes after the big sausage man, somehow beating him up despite the fact the guy's a fucking soup, and Butcher nearly kills the slaphead before fighting Homelander. Huey then wastes his time trying to save this woman who gets lasered instantly, and as Huey is about to be killed, A-Train then arrives and instantly kills all the guards and rescues everyone in the camp. Like, seriously, if he's this overpowered, how have you guys not rescued everyone from every camp at this point? Everyone is able to get away because Homelander starts to chase A-Train, keeping up with him despite the fact that A-Train just completely outdid him like 10 seconds ago. And A-Train then gets knocked over because he sees someone at the end of the street, and for some reason he decides to keep running towards them and only trying to dodge them at the last second. Anyways, A-Train just keeps fucking mogging him and Homelander snaps his neck, and I mean, yeah. This probably would have been a bit more impactful of a death for me if the actor hadn't revealed it on Twitter like 2 days earlier. That's the first episode of season 5 of The Boys. The same shitty political commentary. Kripke really enjoys being accidentally racist. Some of the most important moments in Butcher's life are just resolved off screen. Several characters have information and goals they've decided to just sit around and do nothing with for months for no reason. And yeah, A-Train, after being set up as a rebel soldier, spends most of this episode saying he doesn't work with Annie and he refuses to do any work until showing up at the last minute, where he dies as soon as it's shown how overpowered he is as a character. What an excellent start. Continuing on from this mind-shattering opening episode, episode 2 shows us A-Train's funeral, where Father preaching about how Annie is Satan and she struck A-Train down, and we get some expert commentary on Christianity.
Are literally possessed by demons. They spew and vomit.
Kripke watched The Exorcist once, and that's where all his theological education comes from. Anyways, Father has some sort of sonic boom powers or some shit, and Homelander starts hearing voices in his head, and this is supposed to be some shocking moment, like Kripke hasn't spent the past 3 seasons having Homelander having mental breakdowns. Butcher takes the group to his hideout in an old school. Turns out that Butcher has been using Samir to help improve the virus, and in a scene that I actually thought was pretty good, he told him that it was Homelander that killed Newman, and everyone else is pretty pissed off that Butcher lied to him about it, but they have to just stick with it to get the virus done. Yeah, pretty good. Turns out they're gonna test the virus on Rock Hard, a soup made out of rocks that fucked the statue of Lincoln, because even these soups that don't have dicks have to be sex pests, making them even more disgusting. Murderous, racist, homophobic sex pests. That's literally what every villain is at this point. Huey and Kimiko whine that it's not fair that a few thousand people have to die to save the other billions on the planet. I know, such a horrible thing, wiping out a group of people where 99% of them are shown to be callous, narcissistic killer sex pests, but hey, that's just a sacrifice we're gonna have to make.
We don't have a motherfucking choice.
MM's dialogue is top notch as always. Huey calls out how cold and manipulative Annie has become, which causes her to do the one thing that all women do when they're called out for something: offer sex, which works. Kimiko and Frenchie also get into an argument, but he promises to not let the virus kill her, and then they also start doing the dirty business. I do love that Frenchie just does not give a shit that Kimiko can speak. This guy asks no questions at all. He spent 4 seasons trying to get her to speak to him, and now that she does, he just doesn't care how it happened. Homelander spurges out over A-Train betraying him, and then decides to bring the best character in the show back.
You're as beautiful as the day I lost you.
The boys infiltrate the house where the rock dude is living, and props to them, they remember that Huey has tech skills. It turns out that the rock dude has morphed into Wales's biggest health advocate, meaning they cannot get him out the house. Homelander asks Soldier Boy to track Butcher down, because as we all know, the people who can't even use smartphones are the best people at using surveillance equipment. Anyways, these two partner up, and I gotta admit, I really like the dynamic of Soldier Boy not giving a fuck, and Homelander desperately trying to suck up to him. The boys decide they'll do the test in the house, and it turns out the reason the rock guy is so big isn't from eating too much or because of all the protein powder he ingests. It's because he masturbates a lot, so his penis is now his body. Some hack who earns more in a month than most people do in a year wrote this, by the way. Starts drinking again, and we see the first instance of anyone in the boys giving a fuck about A-Train being dead. A-Train gives his life to save these fuckers, and the first acknowledgement of this happens halfway through the next episode, and it's not from the person who spent the past year working with him.
Give me a second while I look up my little file of things I really don't give a fuck about. And here we have, under the letter N, we've got nigger!
Anyways, it turns out there's a soup upstairs loudly live streaming this whole time. No one heard her, no one kept track of how many people left their house. She didn't hear all the people stomping around doing shit throughout the house.
What the fuck?
Turns out that all of Annie's rebel friends are getting wiped out. If only she had some sort of Jesus figure on her side. Kimiko and Butcher get into an argument because saving one mother being rounded up by what Kripke thinks ICE is more important to her than stopping Soup Hitler and freeing the world. Sage has a go at Homelander for releasing Soldier Boy, and relates to the Crow Soup to get her to help them. And Kimiko, Huey and Butcher get attacked by Soldier Boy, who somehow managed to track them down and gotten across the US to their location in like less than a day. Butcher distracts him while Kimiko and Huey runs away, with some of the local soups hearing the commotion.
You're a dead socialist.
That's for being stupid.
God, I fucking love this dude. Anyways, they lure one of the beta soups and Soldier Boy into the basement, infecting all 3 of them, killing the beta and Antifa's greatest soldier, and seemingly killing Soldier Boy, although it turns out that let the Crow Girl go, so yay. Sage continues to be a fat bitch. Sage continues to be a fat bitch who's obsessed with racism, and Ashley has apparently become Lord Voldemort and has a talking back head. Kimiko refuses to run away, deciding to stay and fight even if the virus might kill her. And Huey asks Annie to not be like Butcher, because being the only person who ever gets any fucking results is just truly a terrible thing to be. Butcher has a heartfelt moment with Terra, like come on, don't kill off the dog. And Homelander is devastated that Soldier Boy got infected and causes the Deep to piss his pants, and Homelander has a breakdown before walking away. And once again, Homelander cannot use his super hearing to hear shit that's going on right next to him, because if he did, he would see that Soldier Boy rises from the bag, not dead yet. After 2 opening episodes that weren't as bad as season 4, but still made me want to stick my head in a vat of animal fat until I have the same fat level content as Amy Schumer, we arrive at week 2, where episode 3 is being released. We open with a group of Russian soldiers entering a mansion only to be slaughtered by Ryan, who's trying to keep his location secret. And let me just say, I always keep forgetting how much of a fucking psychopath the show keeps making Ryan and then expecting me to care about him. Like, look at this. They're trying to make me feel sorry for Ryan, like he has no choice to stay hidden from Homelander. But instead of just flying away, where the soldiers can't find him, instead of hiding away from everyone, he reveals himself and then kills them. And it's like, okay, maybe they're tracking him. Maybe he doesn't know how safe he is outside of this place. Fair enough. But fucking look at this. He could kill them all instantly with no pain or panic to them, but instead he's snapping spines in half, dragging people around like they're in the fucking Paranormal Activity movies. This kid needs killing ASAP.
Psychopath.
After a celebration video for Soulja Boy and some stunning levels of shallow political commentary on Trump's relationship with Russia, like come on guys, you can talk about something else. We see Soulja Boy getting awarded at the 7th Tower, only for Homelander to reveal Soulja Boy is his father. And I will say, as much as I despise the character, seeing Sage getting fucking infuriated at Homelander being a dumb bitch will never not be funny.
This great hero is my father. Oh no!
Soulja Boy is still pissed that Homelander got him infected by the virus, and as the boys freak out over it, it turns out that Soulja Boy is fine because he has V1 in his system, the most unpredictable but powerful version of Compound V. So Soulja Boy basically got the sniffles and now he's fine. It's alright everyone, the GOAT is gonna live forever.
Now all I'm hearing is that this motherfucker.
Whoever wrote MM's dialogue must be having the time of their life, getting all those thousands for, what, 2 minutes of work? What the fuck was that? Why is this so awkwardly shot? Are we gonna get a second take on that, or no? Ah, never mind. Homelander is afraid that he can still die, and everyone realizes he's gonna try and get some V1 from somewhere. And the message of today's episode is always do drugs, kids, because they'll make you immortal. Soulja Boy is still pissed and starts to absolutely mog Homelander.
Just the softest, wettest boy.
The boys go into a warehouse and they meet Zoe and Stan. How does Marie have Stan's phone number to arrange a meeting, you might be asking, considering that she left Stan's compound and then joined up with Annie's group, but now she just apparently has the number and gave it to Annie? And the answer to this is these poor writers don't get paid enough, so they're not going to tell you. If you want that answer, they'll need $300,000 a year and their own private child rape van, like the rest of Hollywood. Turns out that Stan has read the script and knows what's going on with the virus, entering the Batcave and finding Translucent's son, Maverick, where the episode tries to play up some drama, like he knows Huey killed his dad when literally everyone always blames everything on Homelander, so why the fuck would I believe for even a second that Stan wouldn't do the same thing here? You're gonna notice throughout this episode they keep building up drama for stuff you just know isn't gonna happen. Stan shows them all the files he has and Huey tries to apologize to Zoe.
So go fuck yourself.
In a surprising twist that no one could see coming, Homelander starts to break down. What a surprise. This has never been done before. I will say, I did like the juxtaposition between Madeline telling him about his importance and the love he needs to give and how much everyone likes him and how, you know, she's dressed like an angel, and then she's telling him to skin children alive and eat people. Like, yeah, that was kind of funny. Turns out that Zoe and Ryan are fucking or something, and after she leaves, Butcher appears to play on his morality. That morality that just changes depending on which scene he's in because the writers have no idea what the fuck they want to do with him. Homelander is then seen having a milk bath because breast milk is funny and not overplayed. Unga bunga. He tries to get Soulja Boy in line, but once again just gets absolutely mogged by him. Annie says something useful for once, telling Huey to stop being a colossal pussy over Maverick about killing his dad, and Kimiko continues to be horrendous.
I've been watching pornography and I'd like to try out some cunnilingus.
That sentence cost thousands of dollars, by the way. For the amount of money spent on that sentence, you could have fed a family of terrorists in the Middle East. Deep, Noir, the slaphead, and the dog fucker are tracking the boys down, sniffing them down like a priest hunting a choir boy. We get a little pot shot at Elon Musk, because someone who's managed to revolutionize electric cars and space travel has apparently done less with their life than someone who's used a TV show to whine about Trump for like 4 seasons. And Butcher convinces Ryan to be his little virus deploying suicide bomber. The boys find a possible V1 testing site, and Deep and his merry band of fuckwits find their location, and it turns out that Zoe snuck into Frenchie's van somehow, and she's just been hiding in there for several hours to try and kill Butcher, but instead they find Samir, and they find out that, oh my god, the people whose job it is to lie to other people lied to the both of them. Samir destroys some of the lab stuff before leaving, and somehow Stan is able to make a phone call despite being surrounded by like 10 gajillion layers of concrete and being 90 feet below the surface. Realizing there's a lot of work to do to fight off Noir and the other soups, the 2 white people start to set up defenses while the minorities sit around smoking. Seriously, is Kripke just like secretly red-pilled or what?
base?
Homelander tells Sage to get everyone to start to try and recreate the V1, and then we get a surprisingly good scene of Firecracker and Soldier Boy bonding over guns, fucking, and then talking about Homelander.
That's what I've been waiting for.
Butcher finds out that Samir destroyed the virus, and Ryan gets pissy and goes off to fight Homelander. The boys give Maverick some nerve gas to knock the Supes unconscious, and then it turns out that trying to get someone to sneak up on someone who can track scents from miles away isn't a great idea, as Dognot immediately captures him, and then the Deep tells Maverick that it was actually Huey that killed his dad. Now, Maverick has spent the past few months thinking it was Homelander that did this, and he's talking to people who are loyal to Homelander. So it'd be pretty fucking stupid if Maverick just changed sides and decided to join them, right? Anyways, Maverick immediately joins them, giving them the code for the elevator and telling them about the secret escape hatch. Stan locks Annie, MM and Huey in the base with Cindy and Dognot, but as it turns out, a man in his late 60s isn't great at fighting off Supes, getting immediately captured by Noir. Deep then knocks them both unconscious using the gas, genuinely no fucking clue why he does this. Noir isn't a threat to his reputation, Soldier Boy is, and I thought maybe Deep was going to try and take his helmet off to see what's up with him, but no, he just knocks him out for no reason. Annie and MM immediately defeat Dognot with no problems, and after Maverick beats the shit out of Huey, Cindy explodes someone, which is pretty fucking stupid. You walk into a room, see that Huey has been beaten up by seemingly no one, and instead of going, maybe it was that invisible dude I was just talking to, you decide to just use your powers in an enclosed space like this when you don't know where Maverick is. Fucking idiot. Also, Cindy has been hyped up since season 2. We got that little teaser with her at the end of season 2, and obviously she was hyped up at the end of season 4. So if you're sat there wondering why was she experimented on, what her story is, why she's working for Homelander, well, fuck you, because Annie kills her immediately.
Well, that was pointless.
Ryan ambushes Homelander, and after several seasons of putting up with this kid, Homelander does the morally righteous thing and nearly beats him to death.
What would you do if there was a child right in front of you?
Doesn't kill him though.
Oh, we were right there, man!
The boys decide to investigate the location mentioned in the documents. Kimiko continues to be annoying.
Like anal DP one dude's thighs draped over another dude's both pumping away on some poor girl fuck.
Annie whines that she can't continue to look after a beta male anymore and leaves Huey. Deep brings Stan to Homelander, and Butcher comforts Ryan as he hopefully passes away. We'll just have to see in the next episode, but hopefully that's what happens. While there's still a lot of stuff that I don't like in this episode, go figure, such as literally everything they do with Maverick, the continued random pot shots at people and political opinions purely because Kripke doesn't like them. And I mean, again, I've got no idea how Zoe managed to just sneak into their van without getting spotted or noticed. In this episode, we get a scene I enjoyed with Firecracker in it. Ryan gets the absolute shit beaten out of him, which, I mean, that's always a plus. And Kripke decided to have two black guys letting white people do all the work while they huff cigarettes, and he lets the Middle Eastern man violently destroy something that would be good for the world. Like, seriously, congrats Kripke, I'm proud of you. Do you think this is like that meme of you're secretly what you hate? Like everyone talks about how there's so many homophobic people, but then it turns out they're also gay. Is Kripke just massively racist and he's made the boys to try and downplay that, but now it's just secretly all coming out? Nearly halfway through the season now, and I will say the pace is a lot better than season 4 at least, so congrats Kripke. Still, I think this leaves a few questions that haven't been answered yet. Like, how did Zoe and Ryan have phone numbers that couldn't be traced anywhere on the globe, and how did they even get the numbers in the first place? Why is a 60-year-old man trying to 1v1 Black Noir? Why did Frenchie try to kill a little girl and her father? This episode opens on Homelander meeting Firecracker and immediately realizing that she slept with Soldier Boy. And I mean, this must be weird, sniffing your own father inside another girl. What is this, the Middle East? Homelander tells her that he believes that he is literally Jesus Christ reincarnated and asks her to spread the message. And Ryan wakes up from his beatdown.
God damn it, are you fucking with me?
Butcher and Ryan continue to argue because Butcher believes in using strategy, while Ryan believes in the power of... Butcher comes back with some water and discovers that Ryan, who was unable to even move without causing injury, has somehow managed to get up and calmly walk out the building without anyone noticing or causing any damage. Turns out it'll take weeks for the virus to regrow, with Huey deciding they should go to the secret base to try and find the V1 formula. He also takes pot shots at Butcher about Ryan, only to be reminded that he's a cuckold, and he shuts up.
I want to die.
While all this exciting stuff is happening, Annie decides the best way to keep fighting Vought is to go and visit her absentee father. God, I fucking hate this woman. Complains that Huey is stopping her from doing her job, and then while he's busy doing shit, she's melting snow so her dad can leave the house.
You don't want kids reading about gay penguins and becoming woke jihadis.
So all the political commentary is going to be Vought talking about gay people, associating them with random animals or objects, and then saying the word woke. Over $70,000 a year, just to remind you of the writer's salary increase.
Nobody summons me. The last time I let a black woman boss me around.
Oh, guys, it's starting. They're gonna make Soulja Boy randomly racist again. Sage tells him that Homelander and Stan are gonna go to Fort Harmony, the place the boys will be investigating to find some V1, with Soulja Boy deciding to go with them to find it as well. And for fuck's sake, they're also doing that again. Can't wait to make a third video on Sage and how all of this season was secretly her plan all along.
Kill yourself.
As the boys start to walk to the base, they find something has been killing people in the woods. And yeah, thank fuck that Noir is actually just the dude going full method actor so we can stop getting videos like this that don't make sense. Noir now hates Deep for fucking him over, and after some more sex stuff that adds nothing, Firecracker meets O-Father and Ashley about Homelander going full Jesus mode.
I almost died, but she made it all about her and she took off. She can be such a fucking bitch.
Say that again?
She can be such a fucking bitch.
One more time.
She can be such a fucking bitch.
Fuck yeah, they made Huey not be a beta cook for once.
Jesus, sorry, I didn't mean for that to come out so harsh.
Never mind, back in the cook chair he goes. Annie is surprised that her father was able to have a normal life when he wasn't saddled with a superpowered maniac, and her stepmother asks her to have a shower because she fucking stinks.
Got him.
As Vought try and figure out how to sell Homelander is God, Homelander and Soulja Boy arrive near the fort and they start talking about Stormfront. And after confirming that they're both Eskimo bros with each other, they discuss whether Stormfront actually killed herself or not. In the fort, the boys start having a go at each other, with Frenchie realizing there's some sort of hate plague making them angry at each other. Frenchie, of course, is unaffected by the rage because he has snorted so much cocaine his brain is too fucked to be affected. You're probably thinking, wow, Frenchie's brain is so fucked up that he can't even process basic human emotions properly anymore. How is he not dead or severely brain damaged from this? And I want you to know there's a perfectly good explanation for this. Anyways, we cut back to Annie. I'm so glad that this episode is making me look at Erin Moriarty prance around in cat pajamas trying to get me to care about a relationship that's never been focused on at all in 4 seasons, instead of having Annie do something useful, like leading the rebellion or showing her tits. Annie, who knows about the kidnappings and prison camps, asks her cop father why he doesn't stand up to his Vought supervisors that will kill him if he resists. Give her some fucking intelligence, I'm begging you.
Could you not be yourself? For 5 minutes!
After a conversation that boils down to religion is bad and love is strength, not a weakness, so go be with your little twink, we see in the base that Frenchie believes the V1 has mutated the plants that are releasing the spores, so they kill each other so the plants can eat them. They make it abundantly clear they're just copying The Last of Us for this episode, alright? Give them some slack. That $70,000 is pennies to live off for an LA writer. Hell, you know what? Let's just get them on strike again. Let's get up to 200,000. Homelander and Soulja Boy then arrive, and as MM and Butcher go to fight them, we have an unrealistic scene of a Middle Eastern man telling others not to commit violence. As they prepare for them in the base, Annie goes to see her brother, with this kid who believes everything Vought says about her immediately not caring about any of that because they both eat Dunkin' Donuts. Personally, if I had a sibling that I believed was a mass murderer and child trafficker who has caused terrorism across the country, I wouldn't start liking them because we both like Doritos, but maybe the boys is just too complex. You need a high IQ to understand the boys. Another cop comes around because her brother decided to phone them, and when this cop, who believes he's being prank called, asks her dad, who he trusts as a fellow cop and friend, if Starlight is there, her dad immediately says yes and that she's his daughter. The cop stands down after a lecture about being nice, and the boys realise that one of Soldier Boy's old friends might have recently stolen the V1 that was in the lab. How convenient that someone who's nearly 100 years old decided to steal the V1 this year instead of any other time over the century he's been alive. As Homelander and Soldier Boy squabble about getting their dicks wet, the boys decide to leave, and it turns out that MM wants to join Butcher and destroy the V1 forever, regardless of if Kimiko and Annie die. Now, remember, this rage plague or whatever it is just makes them say what they want to say and believe, even if it hurts others. So I guess MM really does fucking despise Kimiko and Annie, two people who have always supported him and been there for him, over Butcher, a man who he calls too extreme and has been betrayed by him 3 times and has been sent to Vought prison camps twice to be tortured and killed by him. Guys, I already didn't like MM, you didn't need to give me more reasons. Besides Frenchie, they all start trying to kill each other, and Butcher somehow doesn't kill them all instantly. Hey guys, have you seen your own show? Homelander starts to mock Soldier Boy, which makes him trap Homelander in a cell full of uranium that will severely weaken him and give Soldier Boy the time to destroy the V1. How did he know the uranium would still be functional or even there at this point? Don't know, but hey, it means he gets to keep mogging Homelander, so I really don't care.
Good luck though, getting out of a soup-proof cell while you're bleeding out of your ass.
Butcher also finds Homelander and starts to verbally rip into him, but when Homelander asks him if he still has the virus, Butcher decides to not lie and just basically admit he doesn't have it anymore. Butcher, the man who routinely lies to everyone, even his closest people that he cares about, cannot lie to his arch enemy in this moment for some reason. Homelander continues ranting that he's God. Once again, amazing political commentary, someone shoot me now. And Huey, after approaching MM from behind and having a clear, unobscured shot at him, somehow only manages to graze MM's arm before missing every other shot.
Absolutely useless.
Kimiko, MM and Huey have a fight scene where Kimiko also somehow doesn't tear them apart instantly, and Frenchie gets Soldier Boy to chase him, where we see that Soldier Boy's old friend is actually the source of the rage and he tricks Soldier Boy into killing him, where all of these spores inhaled by everyone wear off instantly so they stop killing each other. Frenchie and Butcher leave Soldier Boy alive, and Annie finishes her beef stroganoff before leaving, concluding her exciting plotline of sitting in a house doing nothing. Homelander escapes the cell, but refuses to kill Soldier Boy. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad the goat isn't getting killed off, but why is everyone just leaving him alive? After 4 seasons of will they won't they, Kimiko and Frenchie break up. I'm so glad they ruined their character development from season 3 in season 4, only to immediately do another U-turn on the relationship. And then Annie returns. Yay! The episode ends with Oh Father creating a new church and saying that Homelander is a prophet sent by God. So, in conclusion, an episode about everyone trying to kill each other has just ridiculous amounts of plot armor. A 100-year-old soup decides to wait until right now to steal a plot MacGuffin he's known about for 80 years. There's now another weakness that Homelander has that's never been brought up once and most likely won't ever be brought up again. During the last season of the show, where we need to start wrapping everything up, we had an entire episode of Annie having a bath and eating stew instead of doing something fucking useful, and Kripke really doesn't like religion, and by religion I mean just Christianity. You know, I knew the final season of The Boys would be bad, but I wasn't prepared for this level of incompetence. We're over halfway through the season now, and we've had to experience more filler than Madonna's face, written by people that would make Somalian seem like Stephen Hawking in comparison. Let's hope episode 5 will bring things back on track, shall we? We see an ad campaign promoting the New American Church, but Homelander wants to not be a prophet, he wants to be a god. And throughout this whole meeting, Soldier Boy just continues to show why he's the best character.
Heavy.
To be honest, if Vought want people to believe that Homelander is a wrathful and angry incarnation of God, why don't they just stop wasting time on creating new shit that won't sell and just try and convert everyone to Islam? Firecracker receives a phone call from her old reverend, meeting him and hearing the story of how bad the church is doing now that Homelander's church is putting everyone out of business, causing conflict in Firecracker. And I'm sorry, have I quantum leaped to an alternative universe where Firecracker is an actual character with some interesting stuff going on around her? Why are you making her interesting when there's only 4 episodes of the show left? This isn't going to be a Walking Dead thing, is it? The goat gets to bust a nut and then... The goat gets to bust a nut and then talks about how dumb the Homelander religion thing is.
I fucking hate LA.
Me too, man. The writers there are complete fucking hacks. She has a pointless scene with Oh Father and then finds out that her church was Allahu Akbar'd by Vought, forcing her to denounce it on live TV. We then cut back to the start of the episode, and this is the new gimmick for it. They'll be following different character point of view shots and seeing how they line up with each other. Why do they decide to waste time trying out this new style of storytelling when they should be wrapping everything up? No idea. Noir is still pissed about Deep fucking him over, and during his theatre acting job, he gets some advice that he should upstage Deep to make him look incompetent and ruin his reputation, like what Nick Shirley is doing to Tim Waltz right now. On the podcast, Noir tells Oh Father that everyone still thinks he's the old Noir, so Homelander could perform a miracle to heal his voice and make him fly, absolutely cooking Deep in the process. Deep follows Noir and sees that he's going to the theatre every day, and I will say, having an eel burst out a toilet to eat someone's ass to death was a pretty funny way to kill off a character, so props to that. Noir's theatre stage play gets ruined, and Deep then says that Noir's his bitch, and this segment ends. We then move on to Terror. Yes, Terror. The show is almost finished and they're wasting time showing us Terror dreams of fucking Homelander. Like, yeah, it's funny, but he's a dog. Why the fuck are we doing this when we have 4 episodes left and nothing has happened in half of them?
Thank you so much for wasting my motherfucking time.
Kimiko then comes in to feed Terror, and if you couldn't hate Kimiko even more this season, then listen to this.
Frenchie won't cook my steak past medium rare, and I like mine burnt with ketchup.
I'm gonna be very blunt here. This is not a joke. This is not a skit. This isn't me trying to be funny for the video. This is just facts. If you want your steak well done, or worse than that, then you are a fucking psycho. If I wanted to eat beef jerky, I would eat beef jerky. Stop cremating your fucking steaks. It's a sin against whichever god exists out there.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Terror then gets annoyed that Annie took his cum-covered Homelander toy. Right, I mean that... Yeah, that is pretty funny. Terror then gets annoyed that Annie took his cum-covered Homelander toy, and he overhears that they can't track down Soulja Boy's old friend that took the V1. MM also doesn't have OCD anymore. Season 3 MM found out that Soulja Boy was alive and he was scrounging through decades-old newspapers and having panic attacks all the time. And now he's going through the same shit again, and he just doesn't care about that anymore. So another aspect of his character has been removed because fuck it, I guess they just can't make him interesting anymore. Terror then fucks off to the kitchen, where Frenchie whines about him being too eccentric to have a normal life with Kimiko, and I'm sorry, but if you're not gonna secure this, then you're gay. Like, yeah, he is bisexual, I know, but seriously, if you don't want this, you are just gay.
You are gay.
Frenchie leaves, and then Butcher and Huey argue about the vaccines for the virus, and honestly, I think I'm just tired of Huey at this point. He has no interesting personal conflict, and when he does, he just immediately apologizes for it, and he can't really do shit, and then he sits there and whines all the time while someone else, usually Butcher, gets shit done. He's very tiring at this point, and I'm annoyed because he's probably going to be the only one of the boys to live, so... yeah. Terror then munches on some chocolate cake like the little gremlin he is, and they make him throw it up, and after another bizarre dream of him wanting to fuck Homelander, Terror wakes up and Butcher has a change of heart about using the V1 on Annie and Kimiko because the writers are 5 seasons into the show, 7 if you count Gen V, and literally no one can decide if they want Butcher to be Butcher from the comics or just a generic morally grey anti-hero with a heart of gold. It's just kind of tiring at this point. Anyways, Butcher gives Terror the toy back and he fucks it before we cut back to Sage, everyone's favourite character. Soulja Boy tells her he hasn't found the V1 yet, and then she forces Ashley to pull all of their forces from abroad.
Man, those Ukrainians sure have a fucking mouth on them.
So, Homelander is supposed to be Trump, and they make Vought have a good relationship with Russia, and obviously the whole thing here is Trump is supporting Russia, but they also have Soups helping Ukraine in the war against Russia. Kripke, writers, whatever the fuck you are, what point are you trying to write here? Was the politics of this show written by Helen Keller or something? Sage tells the Voldemort Ashley about Homelander's plan to get the V1 and be immortal, and that she needs to read Soulja Boy's mind to try and stop it. And then we get this scene.
I'd kill for a chalupa right now.
Literally every single fucking scene she's in, she's eating or she wants to eat. The fucking fat bitch. Apparently Sage's parents were annoyed that Sage was smart as a child. You know how white people are overjoyed that their child is a genius who wants to go to Harvard and make a new type of fuel that runs on broccoli or something? Black people treat their smart kids like they're in the fucking boondocks, apparently.
Nigga, did I just catch you wanting to be shit?
Good job on trying to give some good representation of black people, Kripke. Turns out that Sage has been trying to get Ashley to participate in one of her schemes, with Ashley agreeing to do so if she just bluntly tells her the plan. Here we go, everyone. Sage's plan that she's been building up for like 3 seasons at this point. Sage wants to get the soup virus unleashed on the world, so then the soups and the humans would go to war and attack each other, and by the end there would be so many people killed that Sage can go outside and read books in peace without needing to be disturbed. That's not a joke. That's not some absolutely fucking retarded piece of writing I came up when I was bouncing off my head on Jack Daniels. That is literally the plan that she wants to happen. She wants to sit around and read. Bitch, you were already doing that when you were first introduced. Just go to Alaska or South America or wherever the fuck you want to go. The smartest person on the planet wants to cause World War III so she can read books. We then follow the goat, who asks to interrogate Stan as Homelander is getting nowhere with him. Stan roasts the two of them, but after Soulja Boy informs him that he's tracked down Zoe, he tells them to meet Mr. Marathon in LA. I will say, props on them for showing that California has become a drug-filled homeless encampment and taking the piss out of Sony and the licensing issues around Spider-Man. Almost like there's a lot of political and social commentary the show could be making if they weren't trying to make everything about Trump every 5 fucking minutes. We then meet the other supernatural cast members returning and these two fuckheads. I'm sorry, I've already said this before, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's annoying as fuck, and Seth Rogen makes me want to stick a shotgun in my ears every time he talks. Homelander asks Marathon about the V1, who says that Soulja Boy's friend Bombsight has it and he can arrange a meeting. And then, like all great men, he and Soulja Boy start inhaling cocaine like Joe Biden inhales dementia. Mr. Marathon decides to start slagging Homelander off. Not sure why he does that, considering he worked alongside Homelander and knows his powers. Almost like the episode needed another one of those, ooh, Homelander's going crazy moments, and then decided to artificially insert one in. Homelander decides he's gonna leave, and we get this scene.
You are going to pay your sick posts and your hateful memes, especially the memes.
Over $70,000 a year for this dialogue, ladies and gentlemen, and they wonder why the companies are fine using AI scripts when this is the quality of the human-made ones. Seriously, just fucking Terminator the Hollywood industry and just replace them with machines. Get Skynet in. Mal Chemical then breathes on Homelander, knocking him out. Wow, another weakness that Homelander just has that will never come up again at any point. That's 2 episodes in a row now. The hacks really aren't even trying with this season, are they? Mr. Marathon says they're all tired of Homelander, and if Soulja Boy takes away his powers, they can kill him, giving him the 7 and removing Homelander as a threat. Soulja Boy, despite some hesitation, refuses to let them kill him, killing Mal Chemical, and look at this editing and choreography. So it somehow takes a man with super speed 2 seconds to move this tiny distance, and Soulja Boy has enough time to throw someone in front of himself and then make it all the way to the top of the stairs before the other guy gets killed. Absolute dog shit choreography.
What the fuck is this? This is garbage.
We then get a very long and unfunny gag of Soulja Boy putting the other guys in front of himself to get Marathon to run into them. Like, I'm sorry, but as much as I love to see Seth Rogen and this dude die, this is so fucking retarded. Fuck me, he moves at super speed. This isn't funny, it's just incompetence. It's like watching Jimmy Kimmel try and do, well, anything. Soulja Boy manages to use lube to get Marathon to slip and then smashes his feet, interrogating him and discovering that Bombsight does have the V1, but he has no idea where he is, with Homelander then appearing to kill him. Soulja Boy admits to saving his life and then proudly admits to fucking Firecracker, the absolute Chad.
I've been fucking Firecracker.
Firecracker finds Homelander in her apartment, and I'm not joking, Homelander says he doesn't mind being cooked by his dad. I don't even know what to say at this point, that's just extraordinary. He says that he's annoyed by Firecracker's struggle with religion, telling her that she belongs to the streets. But when she refuses and tries to keep playing along with him, he kills her as the episode ends. You literally fucking Walking Dead her. You finally gave her some character and an inner conflict that was interesting, and then you kill her off immediately. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I think this season is worse than season 4.
But Lumar, season 4 was overtly political, and it had loads of terrible storylines and character arcs.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not arguing that it was good substance. It was like trying to build a house on decades-old whale semen, but it was still something to build on. It was some sort of foundation. Over the past 3 episodes, the only noticeable things that have happened is that Firecracker has been killed off after doing absolutely nothing all season, and that Bombsight has the V1. I'm being serious. Tell me what other plot points have happened over the past 3 episodes. You can't, because there's nothing there. It's just filler. This is the final season. They're supposed to wrap everything up, and out of the 8 episodes they've made, nearly 3 of them have been full of filler. Well, The Boys Season 5 is almost over, and so far the show has put more effort into setting up the Soulja Boy prequel show than it has to finishing its own story. And by the looks of things, the show is set up for a more brutal, horrendous finish than Kurt Cobain. So hopefully these next 3 episodes will help to make the finish a bit smoother, in the same way that lube would help you get a smoother finish in the prison showers. We actually get a breath of fresh air for once this season, as we see the legend laying low in his new identity working at a movie theatre. Of course, this is stopped when MM unfortunately has to drag him into the main plot of The Boys, thus ruining it. Legend says he might be able to help, and as Sage performs some V1 recreation trials, we see what the Conservatives thought the COVID vaccines were doing to children.
Something's in my ass!
The virus is now ready, but Huey, like the annoying soy boy he is, keeps asking Butcher to not kill the mass-murdering lunatic because his fuckdoll might get infected as well.
Mega faggot!
The legend meets them and says, well, you can't exactly find Bombsight himself, you'll have to go through his girlfriend. You know, Golden Geisha. That girlfriend that Butcher, MM and Frenchie know about. Yeah, that girlfriend. I'm afraid Bombsight is untraceable unless you talk to his fucking girlfriend that these 3 know about. I'm sorry, so last episode we wasted time watching terror fucking when these guys knew Bombsight had a girlfriend and they could have been trying to track her down instead. Huey and Annie go to plant some of the virus in an air freshener while the rest go to infiltrate Golden Geisha's retirement home. In her office, Sage is surprised that Ashley doesn't want to help her after revealing she plans to start World War III so she can read books. If this is the planning skills of the smartest black woman on earth, then no wonder Kamala lost the election. Sage chloroforms Ashley and allows Voldemort Ashley to take over her body, and we see the legend and Kimiko talking to Golden Geisha, where on top of having an annoying voice and eating burnt steaks, Kimiko gets scared by a bunch of pensioners.
Oh wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Butcher and MM decide they'll kidnap her in her sleep, with Legend getting annoyed that MM is doing what Butcher says, and therefore being an actual useful member of the team for the first time in about 3 seasons. Noir, like me, continues to be annoyed that Deep is alive, and in the middle of a critical mission that might kill Homelander, Annie forces Huey to sit on a car and watch clouds with her. This show ends in 2 and a bit episodes, by the way, and our main characters are not doing their job so they can look at the sky.
I have a question for the god. Why?
Annie says that Huey is the strongest person she knows because he always has hope. He doesn't do anything else, he doesn't have the strength to kill genocidal maniacs or stop whining for 5 minutes, but he has hope and that makes him strong. Oh, it's like someone took a children's picture book on feelings and forced it into the show. Again, these writers were getting $70,000 a year and they complained it wasn't enough. Soulja Boy tells Sage they aren't close to finding the V1, and Voldemort reads his mind, telling Sage that their only lead is Bombsight and that Soulja Boy is actually proud of Homelander, in the same way that Keir Starmer is proud of the rubber dinghy people molesting white women. Sage then leaves Voldemort and goes to cut her tracking chip out, and after knocking her unconscious, the boys kidnap Geisha by quickly bursting out the window and running to the van. Oh, sorry, that's what normal people would do if they wanted a quick getaway to get on with their plans. No, instead the boys slowly walk around the retirement home until they're found by some of the other pensioners. Now, I must stress that Butcher can kill these people instantly, and he also doesn't care if they live or die, and yet instead he just decides to fist fight them because watching Seth Rogen and his merry band of fuckwits explode into pieces last episode was more important than to animate the literal death monster Butcher has inside his chest. Anyways, after a boring fight scene, Homelander and Soldier Boy arrive at a house and they see some nugget porn that Homelander made with Stormfront, enraging Soldier Boy. Oh. Homelander realizes it was Sage and Soldier Boy is disgusted that Homelander would make nugget porn, and I'm sorry, this is just a fucking pathetic plotline. Soldier Boy falling out with Homelander because he made nugget porn, that's hilarious. This is the season that everyone says is going to be amazing, by the way. So the two fall out and Huey does something useful for the second time this season, looping the cameras and getting them into the church. They find Firecracker's body and Annie talks about how hard it is seeing this girl she used to violently bully as a child dead. You see, Annie is the real victim here, not Firecracker. Why is it that whenever there's a relationship Annie has with someone, it always has to be about her and her feelings? It just gets really fucking tedious.
This whole thing, all of this, it's all about me.
Geisha has no useful information and then Sage is just in their hideout. Just like that. You're probably thinking, how did Sage manage to find them with no equipment or vault connections? And the answer to that is, these writers need $1 million each a month before they put that level of effort in. She tells them the generic, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and offers to help them find Bombside. After about 3 and a bit seasons of being completely worthless in every way, I finally found a scene I enjoyed with Deeb, where his fish friend dies in his arms because of an oil pipeline he endorsed. I know, it's really fucking pathetic that that's the only enjoyable scene he's had in about 4 years, but I'll take what I can get at this point for this annoying fuckhead. Geisha reveals to Kimiko and Frenchie that Bombsight left her because she refused to take the V1 and live forever, and only now has Frenchie realised, wow, Kimiko living forever and watching me and her loved ones fade away and die might not be what she wants. Frenchie, the man who seems to just be a chemical genius who knows the ins and outs of Compound V and the virus, is only now realising that Kimiko living forever might not be good. Who was in charge of proofreading these scripts? Stevie Wonder. As Yui sets up the air freshener, O-Father walks in and sees Annie, and the two talk about their old friendship and how he was like a big brother to her, and this relationship definitely feels organic and not shoehorned in with no build-up whatsoever. Annie loses her fight against him because instead of using her light beams like she has in every single other time she's fought against someone, she decides to keep trying to fly in this small enclosed area, meaning she quickly loses and Huey has to reveal himself and the virus, forcing O-Father to let her go.
You weak, pathetic fool.
It turns out that Noir punched a hole in the oil pipeline that killed all of Deep's fish friends and made him look incompetent. So Deep chokes him out with some lights and then stabs him in the throat, killing him. So the man that can fly decides to just sit in a chair and allow himself to get slowly killed, and despite being able to punch holes in metal, he's instantly killed by a knife. This is the best superhero show ever, by the way. Homelander tracks down Legend and interrogates him, and Sage reveals that her and MM are the same because they're both going to kill lots of people. Because killing people to stop harm coming to the world is on the same moral level as killing lots of people so you can read books. You know, if you think about it, the Allies were just as bad as the Nazis, because even though they were trying to stop the death camps and the enslavement of Europe, Winston Churchill still ordered his men to kill people, so he's basically Hitler. In all seriousness, I'm just glad the writers are just admitting they have no idea how to write Sage as a smart character, and now they're just making her a genocidal dumbass who's read the script. Bombside then arrives to meet them, and how did Sage manage to get him here? Again, these writers don't get paid enough to explain that. It just happened. Legend shows Homelander the hideout, but no one is there, and Homelander has a breakdown, because that's never happened in the show before. There's another scene I like, where the Legend tells him that everyone thinks their day in the sun will last forever, only to end up like these soups in the retirement home, saying that Homelander should be proud of himself, with Homelander deciding to let him go for being honest and not showing fear towards him. Why can't all the scenes be like this? Is there some sort of secret let's write terribly quota I'm not aware of? Bombside refuses to give the V1 up, fighting the boys, but Geisha asks him not to, not wanting anyone to get hurt. Just then Soldier Boy arrives, and he somehow walks up to him without literally anyone seeing him. He just teleports in and they start fighting. Bombsight then flies, taking Soldier Boy with him, and then they just stop fighting. Seriously, Bombsight asks him to stop, and they just stop.
What?
Soldier Boy offers to take away his powers if he gives him the V1 that somehow hasn't been broken in the fight. I mean, Jesus, is just a small metal case. That thing's stronger than Islam's dedication to conquering Europe. So Soldier Boy does his thing and Bombsight is now human, and then Homelander arrives, with Soldier Boy giving Homelander the V1 as he loved Stormfront and it's what she would have wanted. And the moral of this story is, don't listen to women. The episode then ends with Homelander injecting himself with the V1 and shooting laser jizz into the sky. So after 3 episodes of filler, the boys finally remembers that season 5 is supposed to be having some actual story to it, instead of just setting up a different show that has nothing to do with Homelander or the boys stopping him. Not that this should be a praise towards this episode. Praising an episode of the boys for focusing on the boys is like praising an Indian for using a toilet. In summary, Annie and Huey continue to whine and do nothing for an entire episode. The best parts of the episode revolve around a character who hasn't been seen in over a season and a half. The genius on the team somehow couldn't figure out that making someone immortal would make them immortal. Black Noir 2 died, and you literally only remember that because I told you, because he's somehow less interesting than Firecracker. And the boys have just given up and decided to make Sage a dumbass who's read the script instead of trying to be smart with her. In the previous episode of The Boys, Annie and Huey continue to not do anything important. Soldier Boy and Homelander fell out because Homelander was making nugget porn. And Sister Sage showed us there's a reason why everyone chose to vote for the giant orange racist and get the first black woman into the White House.
Oh, I'm gonna come.
So now that Homelander is basically unstoppable, it'll be interesting to see how they stop him, won't it? The episode opens with a bunch of black women twerking in front of the screen, just to remind everyone how much Kripke loves black people and hates black stereotypes. After this opening dance scene, which was actually kind of catchy, we see Homelander in the White House, and we see Homelander go on an unhinged rant about how much he hates nut milk and that it's not real milk. That's not a joke, that's a piece of dialogue that someone got paid to write.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you think nuts were milk.
The president guy that literally no one gives a shit about is afraid of Homelander, so he kills him, and after not appearing in the whole season so far, Marie and Jordan show up, and their first line of dialogue is Marie saying, "Hey, you know how that entire spin-off show specifically said I was Black Jesus and I could take on Homelander? Well, the writers have changed their mind actually, so no, I'm not as strong as Homelander anymore." Wow, what a fantastic use of 14 fucking hours of a spin-off show. I'm so happy I wasted my time for no reason whatsoever. They give Annie and MM some notes regarding Oh Father and what he's been doing, and then Annie says,
"What's our next move? Pack it up, you guys are done."
I'm so glad this season decided to focus on a random prequel show nobody cares about over the literal spin-off characters that were set up to be in this whole season. Thanks, Kripke. We cut back to the boys in the school hideout, and we see Butcher and Frenchie experimenting on Kimiko using some uranium. How did Butcher manage to get the uranium, transport it here, and then set up a radiation-proof room with no equipment or resources to do so? The writers don't get paid enough. They wanted a uranium room in Butcher's hideout, so one just appeared from the ground. What, you expected one of the biggest shows on Amazon to have some decent writing? What are you, gay? It turns out that Butcher, Frenchie, and Sage are trying to give Kimiko the same radiation powers that Soldier Boy has, so she can drain the V from Homelander's system. Now, you're probably thinking, Sage has had access to Soldier Boy for like a year now. Why hasn't she made her own soup who can use these radiation powers? And to that I say, why would she? I mean, come on guys, why would she do that, huh? Who do you think she is, the smartest person in the world? Kimiko tells Huey to stop being a beta male and get over it. Oh, fuck me, Huey's just so pathetic. Kimiko tells Huey to stop being a beta male and get over it, but Huey continues to whine and complain, and it turns out that sitting around doing nothing and just hoping that things would get better like Huey has done for the past 2 seasons at this point didn't actually help the situation. Wow, I'm shocked. Who could have seen this coming? I'm so glad they did so much with Huey.
Sarcasm!
You know, I gotta ask, everyone keeps saying this season that if Homelander gets the V1, he can't be killed because the virus won't work properly. But when Soldier Boy has been infected, he was forced unconscious for a few hours by the looks of things. Why can't the boys just use the virus on him, transport him to the uranium room they've just magically built, and then throw him in there? If the virus weakens him, and then the uranium weakens him even more, then surely by the time he finally escapes the room, the boys can just beat the shit out of him and he'll be so weak he might die? Am I crazy, or is this whole V1 plotline being hyped up to shit for no reason whatsoever? Butcher then gives another Spice Girls pep talk to remind the audience that the show used to be good for 1 season, and Homelander disbands the 7.
Let's be honest, there hasn't been 7 members of the 7 in quite some time. Bit of a running joke.
Wow, a meta joke that was actually funny? What, did a passing sea lion get into the writer's room or what? The Deep is upset that he has nothing outside the 7 to return to, and we then see an evil stage production being shot.
We could all be rich.
We don't want to be rich. We want to be free.
So, Homelander, aka Trump, is getting these movies made, and one of Trump's subordinates is talking about how big corporations are bad. Did Kripke just say that Donald Trump is doing what he does not out of greed, but for the love of his country?
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
Get the formula wrong by even a fraction of Ram. Kimiko's deader than Epstein between guard shifts.
Wow, an Epstein joke. I didn't think you had it in you, Kripke, considering your, allegiances. Sage whines on about how dumb love is, as it stopped her from seeing that her boyfriend, that had the words "I'm supremacist" on his forehead, was secretly a supremacist this entire time, and that she didn't expect Soldier Boy to randomly become a simp.
Love is a logic error.
Fuck you, bitch. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Butcher and Huey try to kidnap Father, but discover that there's a mind-reading Soup who is also there, and as they try to run away, the guy who can read minds also somehow teleports to the opposite side of the studio to block the door and knock them unconscious. 2 episodes left, and the show is still wasting my time trying to make me believe it would bother to kill these 2 people off before the finale. Deep is told by his shark friend that if he goes into the water, the sea creatures will kill him for the oil pipeline, and not to sound gay or anything, but I do kind of feel bad for Deep. You know, it's amazing how you can get people invested in a character if you actually write them with some effort instead of having them do 4 seasons of absolutely nothing. Ashley and her tumor head have a falling out, and like all women who don't get their way, the tumor head starts to give her the silent treatment, refusing to talk until Ashley admits that she's wrong.
Women.
Father has a bunch of people in to screen watch a promo, where Donald Trump is told by Jesus to become the new god figure and to keep fighting the transgender illegals as he's too much of a pussy to keep fighting. Yes, this is an actual plot point and an actual scene that was shot to waste your time to make you think Donald Trump is Hitler. Let's move on. Soldier Boy meets Homelander, and he decides that he's gonna leave the US because it turns out making a narcissistic homicidal maniac who believes he's a god immortal wasn't the smartest thing to do in the world.
Oh no! Oh no!
It also turns out that telling Homelander that you're leaving him in person isn't actually a smart thing to do, with Soldier Boy getting the Chris Brown treatment. Butcher and Huey are tied up, and Butcher has to once again tell Huey to stop being a useless twat for about the 5th time this season. Frenchie talks to Kimiko and decides that he will have children and live a quiet life with her, because it wouldn't be a liberal Reddit show if it didn't have the man be wrong for his point of view on life and admitting the woman was right. Kimiko then has some sort of seizure, and then we see one of the biggest plot holes the show's ever done. You see, Sage here decides to throw some food away when she's previously been shown to eat literally everything she sees like a fat bitch. Frenchie tells Sage that love is actually a good thing, which makes her help him with Kimiko. That's it. That's all she needed. Terrific. One of the power dudes pretends to be Huey and learns Annie's location, and MM tells her that after his grandpa died, he managed to save the life of a pigeon, and that makes him a strong character. Writers, what the fuck are you smoking? What the fuck did I just hear? The entire show is wrapping up in about an hour and a half, and you're wasting time telling me how MM used to jerk off chickens. Get on with the fucking plot already. We then have to watch 2 animal-based soups sniffing each other's assholes and getting horny, so glad we're getting some top-tier comedy. And Soldier Boy is now in the sleep chamber again. Homelander is informed of Huey and Butcher's capture, and then tells Father to kill anyone at the screening that didn't believe he was God. Deep lets a man die because he's afraid of his sardine friends nibbling his feet, and one of the sidekicks gets into Butcher's head and transforms into Kessler, giving Huey a rundown of what Butcher did to him and learning the location of the school hideout. Father and the sidekicks leave Dognot and She-Line with the non-believers and they begin killing them, but then Annie and MM arrive to save them. Well, some of them. Despite being right next to them before, they didn't bother to show up to save them until like 7 people were already killed, so terrific work once again, you guys.
Good job.
Despite being fast enough to dodge bullets, She-Line somehow loses her fight with MM. Dognot gets fried by Annie, and MM now suddenly has his OCD back, meaning he now has 1 character trait before the season ends. The shapeshifter Soup comes back to kill Huey and Butcher, but Huey reminds him of how his own brother died, giving Butcher the time to escape and kill him. You're probably thinking, wow, before? Why didn't Butcher just do this instantly? And apparently if this guy's in your head, it makes you retarded, so Butcher couldn't use his powers. Why doesn't he make him retarded again when Huey is straight up telling him, I'm distracting you so Butcher can escape? Well, the plot needs him not to, so he doesn't, and then he dies. Annie and MM have just driven away to save the hostages, not worried about Huey and Butcher at all because they've read the script and know they're okay. Annie recruits Marie and Jordan again, and Sage helps to make Kimiko have the radiation weapon. It turns out that Homelander is flying towards them, and after hiding Sage and Kimiko, Frenchie decides to use himself as bait, telling Homelander how they recreated the Soldier Boy experiment, forcing Homelander to flee as Frenchie slowly bleeds out from being punched. He has a heart-to-heart with Kimiko, and as Butcher and Huey arrive back, Frenchie dies in her arms. This is a character that I've been following for 7 years at this point, and you know what I felt in this scene? Nothing. I didn't hate it, I don't think it was that bad of a death scene or anything, just Kripke has spent so little time making this a memorable character over the past 3 years besides him loving Kimiko and doing science stuff that I genuinely don't care that he died. So what did we get this episode? We got a bunch of references from the early seasons to remind us that these people used to be characters at some point. We learned that an entire spin-off show was absolutely pointless in every way possible. The best remaining character in the show was ruined by becoming a simp and then immediately discarded afterwards. Huey learns that a man who left all of his friends to be tortured and killed is the type of man who leaves his friends to be tortured and killed, and we learn that Twilight somehow had the superior love story. In the previous episode of The Boys, Sage, the smartest woman on Earth who is notorious for having various backup plans, decides to do nothing except eat, piss her pants and lobotomize herself. Kind of a stunning self-reflection on the people who are still fans of this show, am I right, Kripke? Annie repeats a character arc she already went on 3 episodes earlier, while MM talks about jerking off pigeons. Huey learns that the man who constantly betrays the boys might betray the boys at some point, and one of the main characters died and I felt absolutely nothing towards it. Now, come with me and watch the worst train crash since season 8 of Game of Thrones. Yes, this is worse than Stranger Things season 5 and Game of Thrones season 8. It is fucking horrendous. We open on Frenchie being buried and keeping up with the somber tone that's been established. We then hear how Frenchie kept looking at everyone's assholes. Yep, that's the direction they went for this. Fucking Mesmer got beaten to death in a toilet and his death is given more seriousness than a main character of the fucking show. Also, I just find it funny that Sage has been trying to get everyone killed for 2 seasons and she's just allowed to be at the funeral. She's just chilling in the background like a fucking scarecrow. Homelander finds Ryan in a cabin, and you're wondering, how did Homelander find him when Ryan's been shown to be able to stay under the radar for over a year by himself? He just did. He just found him. That's it. Terrific. Homelander invites Ryan to live with him again, and in the first scene in about 3 seasons, Ryan has a good scene, telling Homelander how miserable he was even before calling himself a god and telling him to get fucked. Annie is asking Marie to take the civilians she rescued and protect them, and Emma finally returns to the show.
I bet Homelander has a weird dick.
Thanks, Emma. I almost forgot why your spin-off show got cancelled. So, yeah, Annie just tells Black Jesus to fuck off to Canada, and they just do. And that's it. They never appear again.
Oh, my dude, you just got pranked. Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh?
Ashley is pissed because Voldemort won't tell her if All-Father is turning on Homelander, and Sage insults Frenchie to Kimiko's face, which allows her to get angry and activate her radiation beam, stripping Sage of her powers and giving her the same IQ as the people who've been defending this show for the past 4 years. They have a meeting where Sage is once again just stuffing her fat face. Like, come on, literally every episode she's appeared in she's fucking eating. This is ridiculous. And the group decide to break into the White House, using the info MM kept when protecting the White House from last year to sneak in. How does MM still have all those blueprints when he was captured for a year and had all of his shit taken off him? He just does. What, did you expect a writer on $700 an hour to put in some effort? This scene is of course ruined by Sage, who wants to go see Harry Potter World, and that's it. That's the last time we see Sage. 3 seasons of her plotting and scheming to kill the entire planet for no reason, and then over the course of 1 episode, she she has an entire redemption arc and everyone is just fine with her getting away with all the crimes she did. That's not me being hyperbolic. I'm not just summing things up in a neat little way. That is genuinely what happened in this show.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Oh, Father warns Homelander he needs to get people on his side to get them to build the church, and then Homelander tells Deep he's fucking worthless in every way possible before going to prepare for his broadcast. The boys gear up to take on Homelander, using their most effective weapons, handguns and a crowbar. Do you want to take some of that gas that knocks them out instantly or anything like that? No? Just 2 handguns and a crowbar? Alright then. Homelander is giving his speech as the boys infiltrate the secret tunnels, and for some reason, in the middle of the speech, we get this quip from Huey.
Ooh, yep. Smells exactly how I thought a secret fuck tunnel would smell.
Huey, shut the fuck up. Turns out that, surprise surprise, there's new traps in the tunnels, almost like there's a paranoid fuckwit in charge of it who had access to the smartest person on the planet. You guys probably should have asked her if there's any new traps before letting her fuck off to eat every single buffet in Florida. The boys decide the best thing to do against the automatic turret shooting at them from the roof is to shoot them instead of using their super strength or light beams to destroy them. Ashley decides to run into the tunnels and get them out, and Voldemort starts talking to her again. So that's that character arc sorted, I guess. Just 2-minute scene and it's all wrapped up. In case you didn't realise, they're just gonna fucking shoehorn in every single character arc in this episode, by the way. It's fucking abysmal. They find Deep, and Annie decides to fly around the fucking world with him instead of just flying him to the edge of the city and releasing him. Like, come on. He talks to fish. It's not like he's gonna fly back in time. Stop wasting your time doing this, you absolute fucking mongoloid. Oh, Father arrives and pushes them back, and then Huey stops him by shooting a fire alarm. Why doesn't Oh Father just shout at them again so they can't go anywhere when he can't see them? Well, we need to wrap this up, guys, so no one can use their fucking brain. Huey and MM lead him away while Butcher and Kimiko make their way to Homelander, and Oh Father is killed when MM uses one of his ball gags on him, which blows up his head. Please bear in mind, MM didn't fasten the ball gag around his head or anything, he just placed it in front of his mouth, confirming that MM is a soup. Seriously, he got shot in the back and then had no problems whatsoever, and now he's so strong he can hold a ball gag in front of a weapon that can fling entire groups of people onto the floor. It's also nice to see Eric Kripke take notes from one of the worst Marvel movies of all time. I can really see how your show maintained its quality. Homelander snaps, I know, shocking, this has never happened before, telling the audience that he will kill everyone who doesn't believe in him, and then Butcher and Kimiko show up. Despite being aware that Kimiko might have the radiation beam, Homelander doesn't bother to try and sneak attack her with his lasers like he did in episode 1, because that would make too much sense. So instead they just have a big brawl in the Oval Office.
Is this a joke?
Annie shoots Deep into the ocean, where all of his fish friends kill him, and let me just say, this makes no sense. The fish friends killing him, that makes sense, but the reason why they do it doesn't. It's been built up throughout this whole season that they hate him because of what happened with the oil pipeline, and then when they finally start to kill him, they just randomly start talking about the octopus he killed in the last season. Like, what the fuck? Why would you build up an entire season, like an entire season's worth of reasons for why these fish hate him, and then they just completely forget about it, and they just randomly know something that happened in the last season, which they shouldn't know, by the way. This fucking dogshit show, man, Jesus. After more scenes of the power scaling making no sense and Kimiko just standing there, Ryan decides to come along and he and Butcher beat the shit out of Homelander. Kimiko can't use her beam properly, but then an Israeli war criminal reminds her that love is really cool, allowing her to use the beam properly and hitting all 3 of them. Ryan is knocked out and Butcher and Homelander are now powerless, and Butcher then proceeds to beat the shit out of him and then kill him. Yep, that's right. We have a 3-minute fight and then Homelander is defeated after saying he'll suck Butcher's dick. That's it. That's the last we get from Homelander. Everyone reports on what happened, Ashley is impeached, and Ryan tells Butcher that he still doesn't like him before fucking off. Terra is just dead now. We get no foreshadowing of this in the episode, by the way, he just dies off screen because old age, I guess. Stan Edgar somehow becomes CEO of Vought again. I mean, I think Vought would have been burnt to the fucking ground after all the shit it did, but hey, I guess not. And Butcher takes the virus and intends on releasing it. Why does he do this? It happened in the comics and Homelander was underwhelming, so they just needed to pad the runtime out a bit. No, seriously, I mean, this makes no sense. If they had just continued on from season 4 and just kept that Butcher in this season, yeah, fair enough, but they didn't. They just made him an anti-hero again. So now he decides to just say, fuck it, I'm gonna kill everyone for no reason. Huey figures out what happened, and then Huey somehow knows the Butcher is going to go to Vought Tower. Why Vought Tower, you might ask? You see, Butcher is gonna put it in the sprinkler system, and then he'll activate it when the soups come back to Vought Tower, where it'll then go worldwide. Personally, if the virus can go worldwide and affect everywhere, I would have just released it into the air and left it at that. But whatever, this is some good drama, right? Good use of a few $1 million on TV. Huey gives Butcher another one of his gay little speeches about hope, but once again, it just doesn't fucking work. Who could have seen that coming? The two beat the fuck out of each other, and then Huey shoots him. Butcher praises him for being completely fucking useless throughout their entire time together, and then he dies. They hold a funeral for him, and then Kimiko says bye and then leaves. Seriously, she just fucks off and nobody cares. Decides to adopt Ryan and marries Monique again. Kimiko gets a dog and goes off to France, and Huey and Annie are running an electronics shop and she is now pregnant and doing crime fighting, and then the show ends. I'm being serious, that's just how it ends. Huey just looks at a pregnant Starlight go off to fight crime, and that's it. That's how it ends. So yeah, that was the end of The Boys season 5, and let me just say, that was so fucking awful. Everything is just rushed. The fight against Homelander, it lasts like 5 minutes and then he dies. Father gets killed off with basically no setup. Butcher has spent the whole season just ignoring the end of season 4, and then he just decides he wants to be that Butcher again, and the boys just go their separate ways and they barely even say goodbye to each other. Even as I'm finishing this review and editing, I'm seeing so many people complaining about how bad that was, and I'm like, yeah, have you not seen the past 6 seasons worth of content? As an overall season, season 5 of The Boys felt like 3 different shows smashed together. It wanted to have the tone scene in the marketing, showing an all-out war occurring because of Homelander's actions. It also wanted to be a season that sets up the Soldier Boy show, and then it wanted to be the same show it's been for the past 5 years. And all of it is just smashed together, and it's made an incoherent mess that feels like a complete waste of time. Am I disappointed? No, I already saw how shit this was going to be a year ago. But to everyone who's been in my comment section saying how the show isn't that bad and the show is still going to end on a good note,
Vindication!
I guess the final thing to ask yourself is the ending to this show worse than Game of Thrones and Stranger Things? And the answer to that, I would say, is yes. When Game of Thrones and Stranger Things came to their ends, the people behind them were very blatant that they were just trying to wrap things up. They weren't going to try and sugarcoat things for you. They just wanted to move on, so this is the season you're getting, and then they're leaving. That's that. And you know, I kind of have respect for that. Just coming out and saying, we really can't be fucked anymore, this is just what we've rushed out, and you can judge us if you want, but we're just leaving. That's kind of, you know, admirable a little bit. Obviously, it's still scummy as fuck, but at least they're being truthful about it. Season 5 of The Boys had no intention of being this bad. You can tell by how Kripke talks about it. Kripke genuinely thought that this was going to be an amazing piece of TV. He has spent the past few weeks defending each and every criticism that the show's been getting, and he's been trying to hype up the spin-offs to show, look, we're still here, we're still putting the effort in. But no effort has been put into here. This is just politics with a bit of superhero show on it. This has just been several seasons of one man whining because someone he doesn't like got into the White House, and then he made an entire show about that, and then forgot to do everything else a TV show is supposed to do, like have good plot lines and character arcs and themes. So, yeah. That's The Boys. You know, I kind of don't even know how to finish this off. I mean, like I said, I was expecting this, so I'm not really angry or disappointed in it because I got exactly what I was expecting. So yeah, this is just the end of the video and the end of my review on The Boys Season 5. Thanks for watching, lads and lasses. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing and checking out some of my other videos. Sharing always helps, and if you're feeling really generous, please consider my Patreon or YouTube membership. But most of all, I just hope you had a great day, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.